The luggage, I may say, has actually departed. This is why we're all so excited. It's gone ahead to the left luggage at Waterloo, and we are now waiting for the departure of the royal couple. Some time ago, the awnings were taken down from the balcony, so we knew that there would be no more balcony appearances, and that was the sign that in fact things were going according to schedule. Although the wedding breakfast started slightly late, we hear that they've caught up with things now, and in fact we're only about 10 minutes late from the expected departure time from the grand entrance. So more members of staff and guests assembling, and it's rather nice to see that there's just as much excitement inside the palace gates as there has been all day through the streets of London. Now, you know, when we were here before, just what the scenes were like all round the Queen Victoria Memorial. You see what a wonderful job the Metropolitan Police have done, clearing a roadway which some of us thought was going to be an absolutely impossible task, but the public were marvellous too. They all went into the royal parks at lunchtime to have their sandwiches, and now they have returned, and they are all along the Mall the whole way, as I say, to Horse Guards Approach Road, because that is how the procession will go, along the Mall, through Horse Guards, Whitehall, Westminster Bridge to Waterloo. So here we await, patiently, good-humoured, wondering perhaps if they've gone back inside for the tickets. But as you can see, a very good-natured crowd. And it really is warm now, and a perfect summer's afternoon. I remember seeing Her Majesty the Queen drive away to her honeymoon. It was a cold November day. She went off with a hot water bottle and a corgi under the travelling rug. And not only outside the railings, but at the top of the railings, the crowds looking through and cheering at every move inside. I may say there was almost just as great a cheer when they took the awnings away from the balcony. It was rather like the piano being moved at the proms. Balloons, flags, red, white and blue hats, and a bevy of policemen inside the central gateway, almost looking as though they wished they could grab a handful of confetti and get in there. There's a small boy who is a survivor from the early hours of this day outside Buckingham Palace. And there's always been so much to see. Police, the mounted police, and the carriage that went through some little while ago, the semi-state Postilion landau in which they will drive to Waterloo. So now they are going to have to go rather quickly to get to Waterloo by 4:30. Admittedly, the streets have been cleared, but perhaps they're going to go at a trot and not a walk, or perhaps a canter and not a trot. So here we are, looking through that centre archway again. The side gates closed, as you can see. And all these people that you can just see through the gates in there are all members of the royal household and staff, and indeed some of the guests who come down from the wedding breakfast. There they are, small grandchildren. I know the Lord Chamberlain's grandchildren are here amongst that crowd. And there the Blues and Royals looking at the reflection in the windows of the grand entrance. And crowds now shouting and cheering. And of course, what everybody is dying to know is what is the Princess of Wales going to wear for her going away on her honeymoon after that beautiful dress that she wore this morning with the long train. And there you see the lovely police horses wearing for this occasion, the officers' horses wearing these white beards or jowl pieces. And what marvellous patient animals these are. And remember, there are a lot of goodbyes to be said, and don't forget to write and send us a postcard and all that sort of thing. It happens in every family. Have you packed a clean handkerchief? It looks as though, from what we can see through the windows of the grand entrance, that there are people at least round the carriage there. There of course will be the footmen in their state livery and the postilions who will ride the 4 horses that will pull the lamp. And not the thing to wear on a warm summer afternoon, these gleaming breastplates, these burnished helmets, red plumes. The escort is under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Parker Bowles, who we'll see riding on the right-hand side of the landau. The Prince and, now I can say, Princess were both guests of Andrew and his wife Camilla in October and November last year at their Wiltshire home. And this has been a day of friends, close friends, old school teachers that I'm sure Prince Charles hasn't seen since the day they gave him 100 lines. And of course, quite a touching moment for Prince Charles this, because when he leaves Buckingham Palace, you'll know that shortly after they come back from their honeymoon, they will move to apartments in Kensington Palace. And of course their country home will be at Highgrove. Well, I said that they were stocking up with ammunition, and there you see the boxes of confetti. Great excitement. Princess Anne. She's probably got to get her own back from last time. And there, Princess of Wales sister there, and they're one of the supporters. And there's movement inside. The escort moves. And in file they approach the centre archway, and we'll see that disciplined crowd of royal household and staff rush forward, as we can see. There are the guests waving them on. Press secretary there, other members of the royal household, and they're covered with confetti and with rose petals. There go the rose petals, thrown by the children with great vigour. And there you can just see that the Princess of Wales is in a small straw tricorn hat. And there she is, looking almost like a coachman herself, trimmed with pink ostrich feathers, pale coral pink silk dress, short sleeved, the silk organza collar with frill, and a cummerbund waist, which you can just see now, designed by Belleville Sissoon. And there, from the back of the carriage, inflated silver hearts, blue and silver. A wonderful sight, catching the sunlight, and each one has Prince of Wales feathers upon it. And all the family standing in the forecourt, waving them off. Everybody's there. And so, as they drive away along the Mall, everybody's still standing in the forecourt of Buckingham Palace. Standing and waving, Princess Margaret, the whole royal family. And so there they go, off to Waterloo. The royal family really can't move. They're still watching as they drive away along the Mall. A small travelling escort. And a notice, like everybody has to endure, just married. And so along the Mall, from Buckingham Palace, between these green trees, the silver hearts floating behind. And there, just to the right of Her Royal Highness. You can now see his horse rides Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Parker Bowles. And so it's all like any couple leaving home and going off in their honeymoon. Royal family, I may say, is still standing inside the railings of Buckingham Palace, just standing looking at this sight that we are seeing now. There we are, well along the Mall. Buckingham Palace. The day is not yet over for the little bridesmaids. Prince Andrew there. And a sort of sense of, what do we do now? They've gone. And so round into Horse Guards Avenue. The police escort moves. And there's little Ernest Long still there on that leading postilion with his long service to this royal family. Round into Horse Guards approach road. So, under the statue of the Duke of York, along the approach road to the Guards Memorial, and then they will turn left to move across Horse Guards Parade and through the central archway of Horse Guards Building, both looking completely relaxed. Crowds enjoying the shade of the trees in St James's Park, the old government buildings, the back gardens of Downing Street, and on top of the Citadel, that extraordinary lawn there growing on the roof, about an acre of lawn which has to be mowed by the Parks Department. I'm sure nobody but those who fly over the City of London know that that's there. So now in front of the Guards Memorial, the Colonel of the Welsh Guards approaches the archway of Horse Guards Building. And to get through this archway, you have to have an ivory pass. But I think being heir to the throne means that you have one without so. And there the Queen's Life Guard has turned out with standard to do the honours as the Prince and Princess of Wales pass across Horse Guards to a royal salute. And through under the Major General's window, where the Princess of Wales herself stood to see the Queen's birthday parade only in June. And here they come now through the central arch of Horse Guards, lovely old building on the site of the Tiltyard of Whitehall Palace. The outriders now moving into Whitehall itself, the street of government. And never can a procession like this have come through Horse Guards. This extraordinary barrage of balloons behind, and the coach laden with rose petals and with confetti. And so as they depart along Whitehall, past the Cenotaph, towards Westminster, we remember many other occasions that Prince Charles has been in stations with his granny, and on many other occasions. Perhaps that's not the longest train that Lady Diana Spencer has pulled. Behind her, but here she drives past the Cenotaph from Whitehall into Parliament Street. And Prince Charles, who may have some of these memories in his head of Euston Station and Waterloo and Victoria and Ballater and Edinburgh Waverley, now in his open carriage drives with his wife to Waterloo. From Parliament Street into Parliament Square, Sir Winston Churchill watching the scene. And so round from the Houses of Parliament to Westminster Bridge. Westminster Bridge, built in 1862, a wide, low bridge, not that from which Wordsworth looked upon that sight so fair. And there the Palace of Westminster, and behind you can just see the towers of Westminster Abbey. And so halfway across Westminster Bridge, passing from the city of Westminster to the borough of Lambeth. So here we are, the travelling escort. And the married couple. Now, more than halfway across Westminster Bridge. River Thames, fleetingly. And the strange and different place of London. And there from the hospital, from St. Thomas's, love and congratulations. now across Westminster Bridge and into York Road. And Prince Charles has his brothers to thank for the decoration of the coach. They nipped out, evidently, and strung all these balloons and inflated hearts behind the carriage and put on the notice saying "just married." But that's what supporters are for. And so now round behind County Hall, past a hospital which was under the patronage of Her Majesty and Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, Princess Alexandra. And so round the back of County Hall, past Leek Street, named after Dr. Leek, who worked in that teaching hospital, and here's the time at Waterloo. Can't blame British Rail today. The train will not depart at 4:30. And so coming very near to Waterloo now, just along York Road and then turning right up the approach road to the station. The largest station in Britain, with 4,121 trains moving each day. And there they are, hand in hand. There's the work of the brothers. I don't think that anybody in London would doubt that they were just married, or anybody throughout the world, come to that. And so from York Road, up the approach road to Waterloo Station. When it was opened, there were only 7 trains a day. And for those of you who don't know London so well, it's a station that serves southwest England and the holiday resorts and ports along the south coast. The travelling escort slows to a walk, and the carriage pulls up the last incline of the sanded roadway. The balloons look as though they're taking off. And even the postilions find it fun. And inside Waterloo itself, considerably modernized in the last 5 years, although you wouldn't think so to see this wonderful carriage procession pulled by horses, which rolls the years away. And the carriage is making its way to platform 12. Here we come to the inevitable red carpet. It hasn't been rushed along from St. Paul's, it's a different variety. The footman opened the door. And the General Manager of Southern Regions there, and the Area Manager of Waterloo. John Pellet is the General Manager. Trevor Adams, the Area Manager, Waterloo. And so, having met the railway officials, they will walk across the red carpet towards the inspection saloon in which they will travel, DB 975025. A kiss for the Lord Chamberlain, lucky man. Thank you very much for today. It's all gone splendidly. Sorry we're late. And they've gone aboard. Confetti clinging to them in the traditional way. The guard is Bill Sailor Simpson, based at Clapham Junction. He's 64. He's been on the Royal Train Link since September 1974, and he will actually wave the train off with a green flag. And there we are. It's Bill Sailor Simpson, waves his flag, perhaps even blows his whistle. And the lines are cleared. It's signalled off. And there we go. Pulled by the engine Broadlands as the couple wave goodbye to platform 12, to the officials of the royal household who have seen them off. And there, a heraldic gesture from British Rail on the guard's van. To make up, perhaps. And there, the heraldic device. Unfortunately, it's not easy to tie old shoes, tin cans or kippers to the rear coupling of an electric train, but we can stand on the platform like survivors on the seashore of a long day, waving, throwing a handful of good wishes after them for many years of health and happiness, far beyond the points at Clapham Junction. In some 88 minutes they should arrive at the destination. Their first-class monthly return tickets take them via Romsey, stopover allowed, to the eastern Mediterranean. And as they leave far behind them an exhilarated, exhausted London, whose royal day began all of 9 hours ago. And there's the time on Big Ben. The signatures on the Cathedral Marriage Register, far from meaning it's all over for Prince Charles and his Diana, mean that for them, as for any newlyweds, the adventure is just about to begin. May they carry the memories of this remarkable day with them for the rest of their lives, to cheer them on their journey into the unknown.